Youth Voices USA is a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to forming tomorrow's leaders through argumentation and advocacy. Today we are interviewing our head debate coach, Sumeer Benawra.
Hi, Sumeer. Can you introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Sumeer Benawra, and I am the head debate coach at Youth Voices. I have a degree in philosophy from Emory University. Yeah, kind of a general background.
So, how long have you been involved in speech and debate?
I've been doing this for quite a long time. Basically, as soon as I got out of college, I started teaching at Chicago Suburb High School, and I've been doing it ever since. So I've been doing it about 12 years now. So a solid decade and change of coaching experience on my end here.
Oh, wow. So, you've been pretty successful. What do you believe sets you apart from other coaches?
Well, I appreciate that. But, well, I think that a lot of it comes down to how we prepare for topics and the general ability to learn very quickly, pick up and become topic experts within a short month or two that we have to really perfect our arguments, hone our arguments. It's something that adjusting really quickly has always been a skill, a strong suit of mine. But not only that, what really sets us apart is creative argumentation. Oftentimes, I think to gain a competitive edge, you have to look at what the meta of any given topic is. We have to anticipate arguments, and we have to then respond to those arguments. And then being able to take all of that knowledge and translate it into a teachable approach, I think is something that sets perhaps my approach apart, and maybe doing it in a jovial manner. I'll put it that way.
Very interesting. Thank you. So, speaking of these topics, what topics do students debate about, like generally?
Yeah, that's a great question. One of the things I love about debate is it is squarely intersectional. We are talking about topics that range from high philosophy, questions about morality, questions about what is right, what we ought to do, questions about civil liberties, and then all of a sudden we move into the realm of politics even. And I think we ask some really important civics questions, like what does it mean to vote? Like what types of policies should any given government in the United States or otherwise. Geopolitics is another big area that we talk about. But even still, one of my absolute favorite things about debate is that we just get to cover everything. We're really just not limited. There's a public forum topic about organic farming that we're working on, and we could go on forever about it. But you get the point here is that ultimately, really within the realm of philosophy, politics, science, yeah, that's about it.
Very interesting. So when it comes to your classes, how do you describe the culture?
Great question. So it really depends on the level of class. And I think that's one of my strong suits here is that as an educator, you tailor the experience of a classroom to the level of your student. And let's start with younger classes. Younger classes, the point of debate is to create people, children, kids who are engaged and want to talk and want to converse and want to explore ideas. Something that I find is lacking in sort of modern culture is the exploratory, creative side of kids. We don't push it enough. And in my debate classes, certainly the younger ones, we want to do that. We want to tap into the imaginative side of logic, if you will, right? And so I focus on creating a playful atmosphere in those types of classes. And while it certainly remains good-spirited as we move up in skill level to intermediate and then to advance in our competition classes, we really start dialing it in. I really start challenging students, and I don't hold back on using complex, even like college level language. And, we always backtrack and make sure we know what's going on, as you'll know, Albert. Yeah, the point of higher level classes is to really provide a unique challenge. It's like, no matter what your age, no matter what your skill level, we always find a way to push you, to push the individual. And, sometimes that requires individual attention, and that's not something we shy away from. We look for open participation. We create an environment where everybody's free to speak their mind and at the same time respectful. yeah, and we really focus on the nitty gritty when it comes to the highest level. We work in a collaborative way to find solutions to complex tournament level problems. It's one of the things I appreciate about high level classes. That being said, the young ones are still adorable. So yeah.
So kind of going off of that, what's your like teaching philosophy?
Teaching philosophy. Okay. I believe that no two students learn the same way. I think that some kids, I come from an Asian background. I get it. Some kids really thrive off of being pushed, right? And some kids need to be built up. And that's something that we uniquely have the ability to do in smaller class sizes. But even still, like I think I appreciate the personal challenge that teaching is. And sorry, what was the question? One more time. Give you a little more
I was
specific.
just asking, what's your teaching philosophy when it
Yeah,
comes to
teaching
debate?
philosophy. Yeah, and ultimately, at the end of the day, I think there are is an important note here is that while we teach classes for competitive purposes, and certainly debate is a sport for all intents and purposes, right? There are fundamental skills which I focus on. Those skills being critical thinking. Critical thinking is multifaceted. Sometimes it is rhetorical skills. Sometimes it's research-based skills. And that's what I focus on. I focus on building fundamental skills, and then we translate those skills into the game called debate. But I think it's more important to build those skills. So personal philosophy is building those skills first before focusing on the competitive aspect. And then sure, there's time for competition, as you know.
Thank you. Coming to our final question, how would you say that debate helps students outside of the round, outside of the game, really?
Yeah, I was kind of teasing in my last answer. I was teasing this. So this is the question of the day, I think. And I think you look at the modern era, and our need for critical thinking is of utmost importance, in my opinion. I think debate, I think logic, I think the ability to express yourself is everything. It's quite frankly everything. There's no like small way to put it, right? It doesn't matter what field you're in, you will always have to communicate in some capacity, whether it's written, whether it's verbal, whether it's nonverbal, right? We teach all of that, and yeah. So sorry, I'm getting emotional because it's it's just it's something that I believe very strongly about. And the last thing that I wanted to add on how it helps students outside of the round is that I believe that critical thinking is a lens by which you view the world. In other words, I think that what we do in debate fundamentally shapes the way that all students and all people perceive any bit of knowledge or information that we get, that we take in. Okay, so that means to say that everything that we do, every bit of information, study, college, high school, whatever it might be, graduate, is all taken in through a filter. And that filter is something we're not necessarily conscious of, but that filter is our ability to think critically about the data that we're receiving. And if we have a honed critical thinking skill, well, then we fundamentally get the most out of that data. We are not deceived by poor science or poor practice, right? And not only that, is we can, I guess, target and tailor our solutions better. So I really think that this is ultimately the goal and the reason why I am passionate personally about teaching this subject to kids, because I think kids have the most opportunity to grow and to actually formulate those skills in a way that will impact their lives for the long run, outside of just the tournament realm of debate.
All right, thank you, Sumeer. That's very informative. If anybody watching right now is interested in learning from Sumeer, you can check out our summer programs at www.youthvoicesusa.org.
Thank you, Albert.
Thank you all, and goodbye.